You know, there's a lot of great OU podcasts, but there's only one where the horns are always down. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Horns Down Podcast.
What is up, people? It's been a while. Definitely excited for this episode right here. But this is another episode of the Horns Down Podcast. Always put your horns down.
Hey, we're not going to get flagged for that today, are we?
Oh, no. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. As people come in here, definitely like, subscribe, do all those different things, growing the channel, giving you guys a lot of different content and all the rest of that stuff. Today, I have Brad and Rob with me from the Championship Standard. Been a long time coming, and I am really excited. Guys, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves to some people that you probably are going to know, but to some people you may not. Just go ahead and introduce yourselves and definitely promote your channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like you mentioned, we're a Champion Standard podcast. We started, I guess we started now. It's been almost 4 months now. We started around the spring game, somewhere around there, our first podcast, and it's been kind of hectic. Sometimes it's hard filling content during the summer, but being a new podcast, I feel like it's been easier just because we're just kind of still excited and everything's so new. We're just kind of
talk about everything. What can we talk about? It's grabbing from everywhere.
Yeah.
It's definitely made this.
I'm Brad. He's Rob. If for the people that don't know, so no, we try to throw these out weekly, just to kind of try to stay on top of things. And
when do you guys usually drop episodes?
Rob, it's usually Sunday.
We usually film Saturday, drop it Sunday. Sometimes, life gets in the way. We'll drop on Monday, but it's usually Sunday, Monday. Here coming this season, we're going to have to talk about how we want to approach the season, because once the season starts, that's where the bullets are live, and there's going to be so much content to talk about, but we'll try to do a Sunday, Monday drop. We might even drop a couple episodes a week coming into the season. So
that is right on the screen, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
That's our social right there. C Standard OK. Twitter, find us on Spotify and YouTube, of course, and we're on all those like other little
So let me help these fellas out real quick. Let me go ahead and give y'all some knowledge. These guys break down stuff like no other. Okay, I think y'all seen some people. I think some of y'all have seen me with. Gosh, I don't know why I'm doing that. Oh my gosh, y'all seen me do some film breakdowns and different things like that. Okay. Oh, Be Wise. I'm sorry, Barry. If you watch this, please forgive me. So with Barry Wise and Mackey, y'all already know. Check out their show as well with them over there at OU Insider. But y'all seen me with Barry do some film breakdown. These guys do the same thing. Definitely some really, really good content. As always, it's Unc approved. So if you can't trust me, you can trust my Unc, because my Unc is the one that helps me kind of keep an eye out there for other YouTubers or whatnot. So bringing these guys in here, and we have some really cool and wonderful stuff for you guys. One of the easiest ways to kind of find these guys, just type in Championship Standard OU, and and the content is going to be there and it's going to flow. So they have some videos with Chris Mason as well. So definitely excited. And again, thank you guys for coming on. No further ado, though, with nothing else to say, let's get to some OU football. Yeah. Guys, let's talk about the depth chart projections. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball, okay? Because I don't think that there's a lot of vagueness or a lot of gray areas out there on the offensive side of the ball. I think when we go to the offensive side of the ball, we could talk about running back, which I think that's a clear number one, maybe. We could talk about O-line, and then we can also talk about I think that's really all we can talk about over there. But defensively, let's start there, and let's go ahead and talk about just the D line. Let's talk about that. And let's start with the interior. So obviously you got Deion Terry, you got Dominique Williams out of the transfer portal from TCU. You were able to go and recruit, two guys who could potentially be superstars in Stoney and Jaden Jackson. Ashton Sanders, a lot of people have talked about, they love his progression that he's made. They think that Devon Sears has taken a step as well. People talk about Marcus Strong also being a good, making progression as well. But then you hear about G Baby as well. G Baby is still there, and Halton could find himself in that rotation. So I think two questions, and Rob, I'll start with you. But I think the first two questions are, one, do you play an odd front or are you playing an even front?
Well, I think it would be depending on what the strengths is on the offensive side of the ball, right?
No. So that's the first question. The second,
okay.
Yeah. So the first question is, are you playing an even or odd front? Second question is simply just right here. Who do we see Deion Terry and Dominique Williams starting, or are we seeing Dominique Williams and Jaden Jackson? Like, what are your thoughts there with the depth chart, regardless? Because I've heard that we could play a 4-3. I've heard we could play a 3-4. I heard we could play the 3-3-5. I think we're going to be multiple this year. So no further ado, I'll let you go ahead and go.
Yeah, so it would have to depend on what the offense, where our opposing offense is going to be. But if you're looking at an odd front, that means we're most likely got a 3-high look in the safety room. So we got 3 safeties on the field and 3 down linemen. In the last few years, Brent Venables has always opened up the year in an odd three down look with 3 safeties. That to me is like my bread and butter. I love the 3 safety look with the 3 down linemen and having guys come from depth and attack. And with that 3 down front, Dominic can play the nose, Terry can play the nose. I mean, those two, even having both of them, Terry and Dominic, can play play the head up or even play at that 4-eye. If it was up to me, I would be going 3 down a lot, because that safety room is so deep. You got to get them on the field, and you got 2 guys that can both play the 4-eye and the 0, or really that's like more like a G, a 2-eye. But I really like the Brent Venables 3 down, 3 safety look. It's one of my favorite defensive designs. I kind of get giddy every time I see it, especially early in the season. So I would have to lean like 3 down, but I know that, again, when you get into the SEC, you're not going to be able to just predominantly run the same look over and over again. You have to mix it up. And that's the beauty of this defensive line now that we're going into 24 with, adding that Dominic Williams who can put guards on skates, and you can move him around inside. Like, the 4 down front is going to be something that I think will be utilized against some of those bigger SEC lines that we are not accustomed to seeing every single week like we do with Big 12. So
I'm not a fan necessarily of the 3-3-5 or the 3 down lineman. Now, playing EA guys, I use the 3-4 multiple. I believe in that. That's my thing. But in live action football, real football, not the biggest fan of it. But that's simply because 2022 left a bad taste in my mouth.
Sure.
However, when you look at the talent that we have collectively and how deep we are on the defensive side of the ball, you want to see them be as multiple as possible. And I think that those 3 down looks give us the opportunity to have some of our to feature more of our DBs out there. I mean, imagine, and this is something that we'll definitely talk about, but as far as that Cheetah role, I think that Cheetah role is going to be more of a honestly, kind of a DB nickel, like a nickel that could do all 3 phases, tackle, and cover, and I mean, just still be able to play really, really good sound football in that zone, right? But and we'll talk about that later. But I think that 3 down look definitely gives you an opportunity to do that. I think that really depends on whether PJ Adebaware takes that step, or Caden Woolard is the guy that you got out of the portal that you think that you're getting, right? Mm-hmm. So I think them alongside a Deion Terry or a Jaden Jackson, Stoney, Dominique Williams, one of those guys who's having a hot game in the interior, I think that if we can have a legit pass rush guy that they have to account for, that makes things better. Plus, the idea of Deshaun McCullough playing closer to the football, that just makes me happy. But Brad, what are your thoughts?
No, I'm the same opinion. I'm a big fan of the 4-man front, but you got to have the 4 guys up front that can make the plays. So if we can run 4-man most of the time, I'll be happy with that, because that may mean that PJ and some of these other guys have finally fired, on the front. But no, being multiple, and that's all about Brent's defenses, just kind of being unpredictable. The one thing about it, I felt like the last couple of years he was really good about making in-game adjustments, but he would make them at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're going to have that luxury in the SEC to wait till halftime to make in-game adjustments. So I'm hoping. Go ahead.
No, so this is what I was gonna say, or especially talking about this D line, and I think we have a good idea, kind of, as far as I think we're saying. I think you see Dejon Terry, I think you see Dominic Williams starting, and I think you see a heavy dosage of Stoney and Jaden Jackson, and I think that it's up to either Sears, Sanders, or Halton to figure out who's going to be kind of that odd man specialty look that we get at that position, right? One name I bring up would be Marcus Stripling, right? And the reason why I bring him up is because the way they wanted to use Stripling was in special situations, especially getting after the quarterback, especially on third down situations, or situations where you're like, okay, let's blitz and let's put some of our best pass rushers. And I think Stripling never realized his true potential at OU. However, when you look at the role that he was playing these last 2 years, especially last year, you saw a glimpse of what they want to be able to do. And I think a guy that could serve that role well would be Trace Ford this year. I really do. I think that Trace Ford can be a specialty guy, a guy that you're saying, hey, look, while every fan is probably worried about PJ, worried about Woolard, worried about Nigel Smith, guys like that, we still have Trace Ford, who Trace Ford played some really good football last year early on in the season, right? So you're not asking him to come in there and play every down. You're not coming in there asking him to be Ethan Downs, to be an anchor for your defense. You're saying, hey, we want you just to rush and do what you're best at. And Trace Ford, when healthy and when everything is clicking, a hell of a pass rusher. So, no, I mean, I think your D-line is going to be good. And I think, like you said, Brad, as multiple as he wants to be. I think Stephen G said, hey, just going to say I'm okay with whatever BV wants. And I am too. I'm okay with whatever Zach Alley wants, simply because I like what he was doing down there at Jacksonville State as well. I don't think that we're going to be in any binds like we were last year, as far as kind of like the Texas game, right? Where there's just some sloppy plays that let them back into the game. I don't necessarily think that's going to be a thing. I think that the best thing this season that Zach Alley is going to do for us is probably, in my opinion, is unleash the beast in Deshaun McCullough. I think that he's going to be great for that. But like I said, we'll get to that in a second. Do you guys have any other thoughts about the D line, as far as kind of what you think with it? Well, at least with the D ends, you guys have anything to say about the D ends?
No, I just like the fact that here we are talking 3 deep. Whether it's the interior or the ends, we're finally to a point where we're talking 3 guys deep, and it's not just bodies. It's guys that can actually come in and, make plays, play in and play out. So it just shows how far we've came in the last 3 years, as far as that. I'll use Brent's phrase, the competitive depth that we have now, across the board.
There's another player that we haven't mentioned in that DN room is Danny Okoye.
Oh yeah,
and, he's Danny Okoye. I mean, that's one guy I'm kind of keeping my ear to the ground on all the notes that are coming off from all the networks and everything. Is if we can get him on the field, because that kid has a first step. He's a monster, and he's got a great first step. And if you got a guy, because right now it seems like, with Ethan Downs and even RMT and some of the other guys, Danny Okoye is got that twitch, that first step. And there's a lot of heavy-footed SEC tackles out there.
Mhm.
And if you got a guy that you can mix and match, again, complementary pass rush, if you got a guy that has got a great first step, and Trace Ford's got a great first step too, and you can get those guys coming off the edges, get those heavy-footed tackle linemen, they sitting on islands, that's a great recipe for success there. And you got, interior defensive linemen, you got Terry and Dominic that can, Dominic especially, his highlight reel is just putting guards on skates, collapsing pockets. And like, if you got speed on the outside and you're able to collapse that pocket and force that quarterback to step into a throw with an offensive lineman in his face, and you got edge rushers on the outside that are coming in. I mean, this defensive line's got a lot of complementary players that can feed off each other's strengths and weaknesses, and it gives the Allie a way to kind of mix and match how he wants to attack an opposing offense.
No, and I definitely agree. Let's do a little bit of a deeper dive into that DN room. Brad, you added something. Is this like something that you?
It's a depth chart that I try to. And sorry, I can't blow it up any more than that on my screen over here. But
put your glasses on, people.
That's right. That's right. But it was kind of a post pre-game depth chart. Obviously, it's very fluid. I know you can mix and match guys, from one day to the next or whatever. But it's just got all the names kind of listed there, and like we were talking about, there's just a ton of depth, across the board, especially on defense this year. So they're going to need all the bodies they can get once they start that SEC schedule, for sure.
James Thrice says we'll be rushing at least 4 regardless of the front. That is definitely true. Definitely see that. See a lot of definitely, yeah. Because I think especially if Kip is starting, and you know what? I think Kanik would be in the perfect role. I wish that he could take the red shirt, but I think by default you probably have to play him. But I think that if you're putting him in situations where he's obviously just blitzing and not thinking, I think he could be really, really effective, opposed to sticking him out there and telling him, hey, we're going to go run a cover 3 and you need to cover this area or whatnot. I think that Kanik can get there, but we may be a year or so away still. But to look at this D line, I mean, we see the name right there. I think the first name is R. Mason Thomas. And so that, if when healthy, R. Mason Thomas looks like $1 million, but he's got to be more consistent. I know. Shout out to my Unc. Unc has been very, very, very cutthroat when it comes to talking about R. Mason Thomas. As far as I was excited when we got him, haven't been really excited about anything I've seen thus far. So when you look at him, you're like, okay, is this just going to be Marcus Stripling 2.0, or do you guys think that he finds some juice this year? Anybody in the chat either?
Yeah, no, I think it is. If he's healthy, I think he's one of the 2 best pass rushers on the on the ends right now. So yeah, I think, and I don't remember what his injuries were before. I thought he had like a leg injury or something like that. Yeah. So I think those are kind of, I don't know. I think he'll be fine, and I'm expecting him to be probably one of the top 3 sack leaders this year if he's healthy.
Schooner Nate says 2 high ankle sprains, so I can see that.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
that takes a long time to get healed up. High ankle sprain is not for, especially with DN who's putting all that pressure. You're trying to all that flexion to try to turn a corner or try to stand up a 300-pound man like that. That takes some time to get to heal up. And that's, so hopefully he's healthy.
And that's something that I've been talking about early on this year. If you guys were watching the channel and everything, I said, hey, look, this winter, spring, and summer reps going into fall camp are important for a number of guys, Sawchuck included, because they need a full, healthy summer winter and spring program with OU, with Smitty, all of that. They need to get stronger. They need to get faster. They need to really develop. The skills are there. The talent is there, but it's time to take it to a different level. But I mean, when you look at that, I think you go out on a limb and you say that probably Thomas, R. Mason Thomas, and Ethan Downs are your starters. That's my thoughts. I think you could potentially see Woolard work his way into that starting lineup, probably opposite of Ethan Downs. Wouldn't be surprised if that was your starters for the first game against Temple. But yeah, I think
Rob's not going to argue with you. He's a big Woolard fan.
I think rightfully so. I think Woolard's going to have a really good year. It really boils down to Adabarare. I think that's the guy we're waiting to take that next step. I think that you're wanting him at least, if not this year, the next year for sure, be a bona fide starter. I think that has to happen. I think that he has to get all the reps that he possibly can as well. You're wanting to definitely see that. Ethan Downs, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I still think that they're going to use him like Lelu. Like they did Lelu last year. I think that you could possibly see that. I think you'll mostly probably see that in like the 3-down stuff, especially on 3rd and longs. I think that you could see him be kind of that anchor in that middle to kind of disrupt things. But you have, you have a Adabarare, a Trace Ford, the Son McCullough, guys like that, being able to try to get to the quarterback or whatever the case may be, as far as when you're sitting your rushes or whatnot. But I mean, you're going to have options out there. The DN spot is, to me, it's not necessarily a mystery, because we all knew going into the SEC we were going to be somewhat young, but extremely talented. But the problem is we just need production. You guys hear it everywhere, every OU podcast, Oklahoma Breakdown with Iker and Lamy. You guys hear it all the time. We got to get production, and production has to match the talent this year on that D line. It's been a while since you could legitimately say, hey, on the D end, at least our defensive ends, we could get a true pass rush. It's been a while. I think this year is finally the year. I wouldn't expect it in the first 3 games. I expect them to do what they did last year, which is try to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands very quickly. But you should be able to see guys finally start to turn that corner, especially if they're going to be given a lot of attention, which they're going to have to probably Dominique Williams.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen highlights of Caden Woolard? You mentioned Jonah Olalu, pass rush specialist interior. Caden Woolard played a lot.
Is this what you put up?
Yeah. Here, let's see if I can. So, like, I wish I had I'll just let it roll. But Caden Woolard played a lot as a 4-eye and as a 2-eye. They put him, especially in 3rd down situations, 3rd and 7, no matter where the spot was on the field, they put him inside as a pass rusher because he's got those long arms, and those guards, he'll either swim move them or he'll rip through them. Here he is a little bit inside. There's another play right after this. I'm a big fan of Caden Woolard. I think the way that they used him over there at Miami, he was that interior pass rusher. In this Akron game, this is the MAC championship. Here he is on inside. He's a 3 right there, and he got a lot of production from inside as a 3-eye and as a 2-eye. But in this championship game, they did not want anything to do with him. They ran away from him every single play for like 3 quarters. He was getting so bored and frustrated, he started just jawing with tackles. It was play away, play away, play away. One of the things, you're watching through film is like, what are opposing offenses trying to do? Who are they attacking? And they didn't want anything to do with Caden. They didn't want to run to his side. Some of the other games, early in the year, like this one, some of the, they tried to double team him, or they tried to, jack him up or whatever. He'd split it, make plays in the backfield. Here he is, a little tech stunt inside. He's going to twist, go inside. I'm a big fan of this kid. I think he's kind of under the radar right now because there's, again, like you said, there's a lot of seniors at defensive end. But this kid kind of excites me because I think you could do some stuff with him, getting a pass rush package. I think there's been notes on like 247 on 3 and TFB talking about a SWAT package or a NASCAR package, trying to get as many defensive ends on the field as possible on those 3rd and 8 and 3rd and long situations to rush the passer. I think this guy could be one of those on the field for us.
No, this film looks really good. Now that game right there, there is one thing I would say. He gets home, but he doesn't touch the house. So there was a couple plays where he doesn't touch the house, and I think some people would say, okay, yeah, we saw this Reggie Grimes, right? Great looking athlete, guy that had to wiggle all the rest of his stuff. He could get there, he could beat his defender, he just could never get home, right? So is that something that you see being a problem for Woolard going at this level of competition, or you think he's going to be fine coming over to OU?
Sometimes, you can get home, but even if flushing a guy out of the pocket like that, every quarterback can run. And if you might not hit the stat line of getting a sack, but if you can, get a guy to end the play like that, that's a win. You take it, especially if it's 3rd and long. I don't know if I can see Ward as an every down player. Like Downs is going to be our every down player. We want RMT to be our every down player, but there's got to be a package, whether it's a pass rush package or situationally, we get this kid on the field and put him over a guard. And when you got Caden Woolard inside, and then you got Dominic Williams, and then you've got an RMT and maybe even a Trace Ford, that's a pretty good little package there of guys that can come off the edge and guys that can go inside and collapse pockets. So anyway.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just think OU fans may be a little bit fatigued, but guys, I promise if you go back, and you guys already know, I'll say it here, I'll say it there, I'll say it very high in the sky. Go and look at Jacksonville State defensive highlights, and you will see a lot of things that you like. Stephen G asked a question that has some people in the chat talking. Here he goes. Question: do y'all think that we have a Jack Rusher? I'd say yeah, Deshaun McCullough. I think that you see him coming off the edge. I think JB's in here, he's saying good
saw
question.
This one,
there's Eric Stryker, stuff like that. Do I think we have somebody speedy like Eric Stryker? No, but I think that if you get Deshaun McCullough, Amia Seago, Kit Lewis coming over there doing stuff like that. I think last year you saw them wanting to do that, but guess who they were using to kind of confuse the defense to do stuff like that? They were using Billy Bowman. Billy Bowman was coming up to the line an awful lot and was basically just looking at the quarterback and the running back like, hey, we coming. We doing this. Drop back, pick six, going home, right? So, I mean, you saw a lot of different things they wanted to do. We built upon everything in each year, right? These first 2 years. I always said 2022 season was very frustrating, but that was frustrating simply because I think that Venables, and I love Venables. If there's one thing I would fault Venables on was that, my uncle, he said it this morning. You did the Dabo thing coming here. You needed to get down there dirty and go ahead and do what you needed to do, which was get your guys in here instead of trying to be honorable and all the rest of that stuff. But I think in the long run, it set us up for success because it helped OU fans kind of come back to reality. And then 2, I think that you said, I'm not willing to sacrifice what I truly want to build through the high school ranks, opposed to just going out there and trying to get every single transfer that I could possibly get, because that's not good for success when guys, I know I want to build through high school ranks, right? So no, I'm excited about that D-line room. I think that there's room for guys like Nigel Smith as well to possibly be on the field. But I want to see it. These first 3 games, we have 3 really good games. Temple should be a blowout, so you want to see that actually be a blowout. You want to see them go out there and handle business. But Houston, because of guys, Willie Fritz. That's
Willie
going
Fritz
to be
is
a decent game simply because they're going to
he's
try
legit,
to.
man.
Yeah, it's going to be a tempo-based game simply because they're going to try to slow it down as much as they possibly can to drain the clock for possessions, and if they need to, they'll try to go tempo to hurry up to catch OU off guard, right? Because OU likes to get their plays late, right? Tulane's still going to have some decent talent there. They're still going to have remnants of the Willie Fritz era there. So you got 3 good tune-up games before you go and play Tennessee, right? Which you're hoping that D-line is really churning by that time. Let's see. James Strice says Samuel's a year away from having meaningful snaps against good competition. He might play in the non-con, but that's about it. I don't know. I may disagree with you, James. I think that Sammy could potentially see himself on the field. I think it may come in the form of playing linebacker at some point, and that really depends on Kennick, right? Because and we can actually go into that instead of going to the linebackers. Let's go into the Cheetah. The Cheetah, obviously, Isaiah Simmons is who everybody thinks of, but with what we have here and what is played, I think that the Cheetah position is going to be dominated. And I've seen Sammy O do some good things or whatnot and spring ball and all the rest of that stuff in the Cheetah position, but I think this is going to be a position that is dominated by the DBs, meaning that you will see a mix of Peyton Bowen and predominantly probably Kendall Dolby at that position this year. For me, I would love to see Kendall Dolby focus solely on the cornerback position. However, you're letting him play what he's always naturally played. If you go look at his NEO film, that's what he was. That's what he is, right? He's just a playmaker over the field. One of the best plays that he made last year, I know it's kind of light work. One of the best plays that Kendall Dolby made last year was that interception on that. I think it was almost like a bench route that they ran when he got the interception against Tulsa. And it was an incredible interception. It was a really athletic play. So I think you could see it be dominated by he and Peyton Bowen. I think that you'll see Woody occasionally, not that much. But I think you could see Sammy O over there, but we'll see. But with that Cheetah position, that's what I'd like to hit next. I think, Rob, you got something on here?
Yeah. So this is all Dobie. I love Dobie. Dobie's awesome, man. I mean, yeah, he's over here in this corner spot, and that looked like a bench, maybe like a little sail route to the sideline. But yeah, Dobie, he sticks on players, man. He's in the back pocket over and over again. I like Dobie as a cover down in the nickel, but like you said, Peyton Bowen's going to get some run there. Deshaun McCullough is going to be playing there as well as with the, coming off the edge as a jack rusher like we've talked about, or some of those early downs, because Kendall Dobie doesn't give you a lot in the defending the run, so to speak, right? But he is a cover down player that can lock down on those slot receivers, and we all know offenses like to put their best receiver in the slot. I mean, Luther Burden plays in the slot, and there's a lot of players that, like Xavier Worthy, played in the slot. So you have to have a cover down nickel that can take some of the best receivers out of the game in these pass scenarios. What I did like about Kendall Dobie last year, they moved him all over the place. I mean, he got run at safety, corner, nickel. They blitzed him. He was a little bit of everywhere, and it was a cool story. And I think Jay Smith in his interview with him, 6 or 8 months ago, he talked about how he, in fall camp he was at corner, and then Justin Harrington gets hurt, and then he has to jump in and be the nickel. I think it's a good spot there for him, but if you need a corner to put someone out on the outside, you put him there. I mean, I feel like you can have confidence that you're going to get high level of play no matter where you kind of put him there as a cover down. I would probably avoid situations where he has to be close to the line of scrimmage to try to get a run stop, on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, stuff like that. But yeah, I like Dolby's game. The kid is a lot of plays, watched a lot of games with him, and he sticks to the back pocket of his receiver, and he doesn't get called for a lot of PIs. And some random stats for you. So he had I think he had 268 covered snaps. If you filter out all the corners, and there was 1,900 of them that got playing time. Filter all the corners with 200 snaps or more. He gave up 33 receptions, which was tied for the first in the country. So 200 snaps, 33 receptions. He gave up 0 touchdowns as a cover down in the nickel spot. So that he's one of my underrated players in the defense. I like watching him. He's a competitor, man. Coming from the JUCO ranks, he's got that chip on his shoulder, and I think we should expect some great things for him. He's going to end up being a valuable asset for us when we go into the SEC, and we got some big time receivers like Luther that play in that slot. So.
Mm-hmm. So I had a friend, shout out to Brady Trantham, guys, definitely follow and go subscribe to Through the Keyhole podcast. But Brady and I were at the gym the other day and we were talking. He said, my only concern about Dolby is, for example, when we go play a team like Auburn, who doesn't necessarily have a great pass attack, which they could have it this year. Maybe Peyton Thorne finds some success through the air this year. But and Brad, I'll let you take this one, and then Rob, you can comment on it as well. But Brady said, hey, man, my only concern with Dolby out there is simply this. What happens on a 3rd and short, where it's like 3rd and 4 or whatever, when Auburn runs a jet sweep and they say, hey, we're going to run it to his side because he's 5'11", 185 or whatnot, or 195. We're going to run it to his side and try to, play, that type of ball. And I'm like, isn't that a chance? Isn't that when you would see a guy like Sammy O or Don McCullough probably switch out, sub out, and come over there? But just like to get your thoughts on that.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, that's and Rob already touched on it, that Dolby, you don't really want to have him, close to the line of scrimmage in those situations like that in particular. But yeah, McCullough and Sammy O just seem well suited for that type of situation. And Sammy O, by the way, he stood out in the spring game. That guy's a load. Me and Rob were sitting in the stands. I'm like, oh God dang, look at Sammy. The guy's just he's a big boy. I'd like to see him get some run early on just to try to get him involved a little bit. So, him and Deshaun can be kind of the run stopping cheetahs, and let Dolby be more the, you're playing Tennessee. They like to spread it out, get him more involved then. But yeah, I'd love to see Sammy O get in there.
Wow.
And even, I know Peyton Bowen's a safety, but man, I sure would like to get that guy closer to the line of scrimmage on some plays too, just with his instincts. The guy's got a little bit. He's not Roy Williams size wise, but instinctually, just having him in spaces sometimes where you need, guys close to the line of scrimmage would be nice at times with him as well. But
so do you guys think that we take a step forward with that cheetah position, or when it's just really kind of like a base nickel? In some formations or whatnot, do you guys think we take a step forward this year? Especially kind of, I want to go out on a limb and just guess, right, that it's going to be dominated predominantly by your DBs, right? Dolby.
Yeah.
Bowen. Maybe RSJ is in there, right? Maybe you put Bowen and Billy and Peyton back in the back end and say, hey, I'm gonna put my better athletes, my ball hawking athletes back here, and have RSJ be up there to be able to kind of, what it all boils down to is that we're setting the edge, right? We want to be able to at least set that edge where I think you're going to be able to do with your D line, right? Because the thing is that, and people please understand, it's not necessarily high level football talk that we're talking about. Just be plain and simple about it. You're not even looking for Deion Terry to go out there and have 18 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 5 sacks, or whatever from that position. You're asking him be so disruptive that we force them to one side of the ball, or they have to run, they have to go around the edges because they know if they come through the interior, that's not going to be a thing. I hate to say it, horns down, but that's what Texas did last year. Texas would tell you all the time, if you're going to run at us, you better run to our edges because you're not doing anything in the interior, right? And those teams that would try so hard to prove or to send a message to them that we're going to run it as much as we want to up the middle, up the gut, you were like, hey, you're putting yourself behind the sticks, messing with those two in the middle. Go around. Edges are obviously where they're bad at, right? So I'm excited about the Cheetah position of what it can be, and I think that you could see sparingly Deshaun McCullough out there at that position, but I would definitely say this right here. You're going to have to figure out what he's going to be doing because that outside linebacker in a Zach Alley defense can, and I don't know, like they do some stuff. They do some stuff. And they're usually really athletic if you watch that film.
Yeah.
So,
Do we know how Deshaun's doing? There were some reports, of course, of his injury, a foot injury. Have you heard any more on that?
I haven't necessarily heard more on it. I heard it was kind of day to day. Not necessarily sure if you don't know, supposedly there was he may have a. I don't want to just get out there and say, oh, this is definitively what he has. I don't know, but the stress fracture they talked about. Maybe a sprain, maybe something like that. But I think they're taking it day by day. So I don't necessarily know if it's gotten worse or if it's gotten better. So I think news will come out on that. But I would not expect to see him against Temple.
Right. Yeah. I heard the same thing, possible stress fracture, which, obviously would need some rest.
Yeah.
He can't be taking a bunch of reps here in the fall and risk injuring that worse than what it is. But yeah, I think he's a big key. If he's healthy, then it allows them to do a lot with that position.
Which I expect that you'll see a bunch of guys probably pop up if everything goes well. I think you see a minimum 2 more weeks according to BV. That's what Kim Hurst said. What's up, Kim?
Okay.
Cool.
So that's good to know. So I mean, I would say at the very worst, if everything goes the way that it's planned, Tennessee, right? I think that you would possibly, that would be the game where you would see a lot of your big guns come back. Andrell Anthony. I know Farouk is out there practicing now. Possibly you're trying to just take it as slow as possible. Maybe give him a couple of reps, but nothing that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I think Everett may even be back by Tennessee as well. He's way ahead of schedule.
So I guess as far as just the DB room, I mean, I think we can just kind of vroom through that. Let's talk about I think we kind of know it's safety. I think that if you're going 3 safety look, Zach Alley loves to do, I think obviously it's RSJ, Bowen, and then Billy Bowman as well. I think your starters, I mean, honestly, I'm going to go out and just go ahead and say it. I think it's RSJ and Billy Bowman, which I'm not mad at. I think Peyton Bowen is going to be heavy in that rotation. I think you do see all 3 of them on the field. I think you can see Woody back there some. I definitely think that you could see a guy like Hardy out there. I think Hardy could make his way in there. I think Boganowski, guys, I think he may be a little, maybe a year away, right? And I think at corner, and you guys just stop me if you think I'm wrong, but I think at corner, I'm just gonna go ahead and, I mean, you got it right here, but I think at corner, I think it's Gentry and
and I have it from left to right, is who I got projected as starters.
Let's see who you got.
So I got Woody. I got Woody and Gentry, but with course Des Malone right behind him.
And I'll be honest with you, I think Vickers is going to be heavy in that rotation as well. I think Kanai Walker is going to be heavy in that rotation as well. And I think you could legitimately see all 6 of those guys on the screen from Gentry, Kanai, and then Jacoby Johnson as well. Guys, if you're not familiar with Jacoby Johnson, you need to be, okay? Mustang product, 6'2", think over 200. He's a guy. He's going to be a guy. He's an athletic guy.
Yeah.
Then
He was
Woody,
he was a two-way guy in high school and just dominated. So.
Yeah. And I think Woody, Woody's going to be an interesting thing because in Big 12, Woody was kind of locked down, especially for the first half of the season last year. Woody in this SEC with a lot of the SEC speed, that's going to be an interesting thing. But I think Des Malone is a great backup, but I think he also can play starter minutes as well. And then, like I said, Vickers. I think Vickers will benefit either way. If he plays a lot or if he doesn't and he just learns, I think he will benefit a lot as well. I think Vickers is going to be a guy that you feel comfortable putting him all over the place. And I think next year you could see him potentially split time between being a corner and being kind of like that coverage cheetah, if that is something that we need, right? Do you guys disagree with anything that we've said thus far with that?
No, I agree. And I know there's some young guys. I was trying to shrink this just a little bit. Eli Bowen. I know they've heard or seen a lot of good things out of him. Peyton's little brother. He's been coming on. They like.
I want Eli. I want the Bowen boys to be safeties together. I mean, Eli is look 5'9", going against a 6'6" wide receiver in Ivan Cardio, right? Fearless, not playing off coverage, playing press coverage, right? That's all you saw in that spring game. Fearless guy, ball hawk, knows how to make good plays on the ball. He's going to be a really good player for us.
Hey, did I forget? Have I left Jaden Rowe off the depth chart? He's still on the team, right?
That's a name that you forget about. That is a name that you definitely forget about.
Yeah. I left him.
He's healthy, people. He's healthy.
No, he's a good ball player.
He's healthy.
In the spring game, he looked jacked, man. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was like 230 pounds or something like that, 225 corner. Surely he's
walked out
at corner, but I know he's listed at corner.
I walked out. We walked up there to the spring game, and we were sitting down, and me and my uncle looking at some of the players. Like, man, RSJ is jacked. Then I said, look at Josiah Wagner. My uncle said, wait a minute, that's Josiah Wagner. Who the hell is that? I said, oh, that's Eli Bowen. I said, damn. I said, okay, Smitty. The Smitty effect, 3 months. I said, okay.
Oh.
And that's what we hope. BV mentioned Rowe at Cheetah today. Rowe is a guy that had great speed coming out of high school and great size, great speed. So I definitely think that if Cheetah is going to be a decent role for position for him, then I would like to see it. But in the last probably like 20 minutes or so, we'll go a little bit over today. Let's talk about Jackson Arnold. Do you guys know when we first started talking about doing this pod together, that's what I was wanting. So get that video up here now. And I'm going to let you guys just go ahead and kind of break it down how you want. Guys, please go ahead and like, subscribe, do all those different things to this video here. Share this video. Let people know that we're live right now. I am with Brad and Rob from the Championship Standard. Definitely check out their channel. They have a video breaking down Seth Littrell's offense, not only from North Texas, but at North Carolina. If you go and watch their video and see what he was doing at North Carolina, you will say, oh my goodness, he was doing the Lord's work up there. He had a quarterback that was a great dual threat quarterback, but wasn't that threatening in the passing game. Mm-hmm. And they put up numbers with that offense, and on top of that made an ACC championship game. So I want you guys to definitely go check out their channel, because that's the video that really got me on and said, man, these people make some legit content. So with that being said, let's go over here and let's you pulled it up right here. So yeah.
Do you want Seth Littrell or do you want Jackson Arnold? Which one do you want?
Let's go Seth Littrell first, just for a few minutes, and then let's talk about then we can talk about Jackson Arnold.
Okay. So Seth Littrell, in in 2015 North Carolina, his team only had like one or two offensive draft picks. Elijah Hood was one. Ryan Switzer, a wide receiver. He grabs 10 wins and he goes and plays against Clemson. And this offense was a run heavy, big quarterback, a lot of quarterback power, pin and pull. Here's a pin and pull. He loves tight ends. He gets the tight ends involved. I mean, come on, the history of H-back and tight ends, right? Seth Littrell. So he wants his tight ends to be involved in the game. He gets guys moving to the outside here in 2015. He for 3 quarters, he put the pedal to the metal to Clemson. Clemson just out-talented them. Here's some Clemson tape. He took this offense and molded a playbook, and here's a little buck sweep there. A lot of these plays, if you want to watch some DeMarco Murray, Philadelphia Eagles tape, similar stuff. Run to the outside, get to the corner. He really played to the strengths of this team, and he got Elijah Hood, their running back, drafted. I diving into Seth Littrell, he is a future head coach. Okay, we're very, very lucky to have a future head coach as an OC, but also in the mindset of like OU today. The last 3 years, we've had 2 OCs check out in the middle of the year. Riley was on his way out. Lebby was on his way out last year. This OC, Seth Littrell and Jackson Arnold, will be the best OC quarterback combo since Riley and Baker in 2015. The way that he's going to structure his offense, the way he's going to get Jackson Arnold involved, we're going to have finally a full season of creativity and talent all meshed together on offense. So at 2015, again, just a lot of taking some, kind of under-talented guys, I guess you would say, and got a lot of great production out of them. If you skip over here, this is his maybe his second year with North Texas. He hired the air raid guy. I forgot his name. But again, run game, inside run. He kind of molds his offenses as he goes along with his talent. He doesn't have like an offense. He's not like a Chip Kelly or a Riley that has like an offense and system that's just his name. He can change it up literally every single year. He, again, molds the playbook to his players' talents. And that's why, this coming year, one of my, things is, okay, Littrell does not come from this veer and shoot, right? This Lebby, Josh Heupel, Briles system doesn't come from this veer and shoot. We kept Joe John Finley, who worked with Lebby. Supposedly the two of them are going to come together. I'm kind of intrigued on what is actually going to be put on the field, because I feel like Littrell's going to kind of take some of the veer and shoot stuff, and he's going to kind of have some of the stuff in his back pocket of some of the things that he did in North Texas, which is a lot of like inside zone, inside insert. And then now he's going to, he's definitely going to work out the outside zone game. That was something that was missed in Lebby's offense. But I'm super excited about this, guys. I mean, Littrell and Arnold, the pairing of the two is something that we probably we won't see very often. So, this coach, he's a coach's coach. He's going to end up being a head coach eventually. So
again,
yeah, he will. He's definitely going to be a head coach someday. Very quickly.
And the thing is, people, is that we're showing you the run plays right now. We haven't even really gotten into the pass plays. And I think what people will love about this, go back and guys, if you're a fan of the show and you watch the show a lot, you know what game I harp about a lot last year, which is the West Virginia game. Still to this day, don't understand what was the difference in that play calling versus what you did at Kansas and Oklahoma State. However, if you want a taste if you don't want to go and watch the film of what type of offense he does, well, hell, you can watch it right here. This is the type of offense he has. It's not an East-West system. It's an inside. You see the inside run. You see the different run schemes that he has. It's a vertical offense. They want to get down the field, and they want to be as aggressive as they possibly can. They give the wide receivers their route tree, different things like that, and they try to push that ball down the field. Is this Mason Fine right here, or is that Bean?
I believe that's Ani.
That's
so
Ani?
this is
Okay.
this is Ani, 2017, former Oklahoma high school product. I think he still has the record for the most yards in Oklahoma high school history.
Yeah.
Again, took a guy that hardly was recruited, threw him into the system, molded him into a really productive quarterback. So,
yeah, I mean, and you see it right there. And guys, like I said, the biggest difference between, I think, there's two key differences that I'm praying that we see, but from the Levy era to this new regime with Joe John and Littrell. But I think what people need to understand is that I think Joe John is a former head coach, a really good offensive coordinator in his past stops. That understands the game flow, right? So I think game management could be better this year. It could be a lot better this year. I don't think you're going to have 50-second 3-and-outs, right? Then also, I just feel like you're not necessarily trying to go east-west. You're trying to get down the field in a hurry. And I mean, like I said, you type in Mason Fine highlights, you see these highlights right here. Players are running down the field open. Guys just have to see it. And and that's a conversation that me and my uncle had. And Brad, hopefully you'll come in on this. But I was talking to my uncle, I think yesterday or the day before, and I said, I'm still trying to figure out, was it a Dylan thing? Or was it Levy? Was it the play calling? Meaning that why was Dylan seeing guys so late, right? Because I think that had a lot to do with some of the underthrows as well. Because you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, was this just a Dylan thing? We kind of came to the conclusion of, I don't necessarily think it was a Levy thing. Levy's system is built on the big play capability, but I just think Dylan kind of saw guys late, and I think that it was to the point where he knew guys could potentially be open, but I don't think maybe necessarily the trust was always there. But when it was there, it was definitely effective, and he was on money a lot. But when it wasn't, you just kind of saw those throws that made you feel like, I don't know, right?
Yeah. I agree. I think it was a Dylan thing. So I think it was a combination of, he's not the best deep ball thrower. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. So the fact that he was recognizing that late, he just couldn't get the ball where he needed to because he was recognizing it so late. And I think that hurt him a little bit on some of the, we had lack of tight ends, whatever, but I think just recognizing that stuff where there was deep ball or, guys across the middle, he just didn't recognize stuff as quickly as he should have. And we saw that a little bit from Arnold in the bowl game, not recognizing stuff early enough as well, but he's a freshman compared to a 10th year senior, whatever Dylan is. But yeah, I think it was a Dylan thing. And that's Rob touched on, and I can't wait. Littrell is known for, catering his scheme or his systems to his quarterback's strengths. So
yeah,
whatever that is with Arnold, he's going to, just wear it out the whole game if it's working for him. And not get cute and do other stuff that he's not comfortable doing, especially early on.
Yeah.
So
from looking at this offense, Rob, it's one of those where he doesn't give you a lot of eye candy, but if you get caught looking in the backfield, that's probably a touchdown, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's Jake Roberts, by the way. But yeah, so No jet sweeps, no crazy motions. It's a real, again, like you mentioned earlier, it's a vertical offense, but it's not just vertical with the passing; it's vertical with the run. Right? They don't want to be dancing around or doing some jet sweep stuff. They want to hit that hole hard and get vertical. They don't care if it's a 3-yard gain, 4-yard gain. They want to work vertical. And here's some counter. I mean, as he evolved to like 2015 with a lot of outside run and the power read and stuff like that, the pin and pull game. Here he is, halfback counter and inside zone, whether it was insert or if it was trap, or here's a guard halfback counter, and then play action and hit your Jake Roberts there. So I mean, it's not, and Littrell is not creating something new. These plays are all out there for coaches. What he does is he picks the plays that he knows his team can run at a high level and execute from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. No matter gassed you are, you can execute it and get production out of it. And he puts those plays together for his team for success. And he's really, just really good stuff, man. I'm really excited to see what Littrell puts together this coming year, especially with the talent that he has at wide receiver and at quarterback. So a lot of good stuff to be excited about.
I'm watching this and I see, I'm like, oh, okay, those little swings to that where, I mean, I wouldn't even call them a bubble, but no, they are bubbles. They're not a jailbreak, but you see the little bubbles to the outside. He has fast guys out there. I'm like, oh, that's Brandon Thompson, right? You see the little pop passes to the wide receivers, and you say, okay, that's Jaquez Petaway, right? And then you see things that you saw in the spring game with Burks and everything. You're like, oh yeah, that's that I like that, right? We can get vertical. And I've said this, man. I'm on record for saying this. I am the first one. I'm high. I'm beefing with Texas fans right now about Stoops, all right? Because Texas fans are like, I had this thing, and I stand by it. I always told them, I said, man, Stoops is better than Jordan Whittington. They're like, oh, no, he's not. This and that, blah, blah, blah. Horse down, by the way. So all my Texas friends and haters would say, now they're getting at me saying, well, Stoops is not even going to make the roster, and they're talking about Whittington did this. Now it's like, still got to do something on the field. He does nothing but get hurt, right? But regardless, though, my whole thing is that I think you got better by subtraction in that role. I think you're more athletic in that. I say role, I meant position as far as a slot receiver. I think that now with Burks, and I'll be honest with you, there's a number of guys you could put at that position. Honestly, I'm not even it would take me a second to get to Petaway, to be real with you, as far as that slot receiver. I think that you could go I think you leave Andrell outside. I think you would put, Brennan Thompson outside, but I think what you would probably be looking at mostly, you could put Anderson in the slot. You could put Gibson in. I mean, you could do a handful of things with the guys that you have, because they're all so interchangeable, in my opinion. If you want to go with the younger guys, the Ragans, the Daniels, the Kearneys of the world, I think those are roles where, like, hey, they could come in and possibly have some plays for them. You're not just seeing that slot being used as kind of a slant guy, possession receiver. I think that slot could be really explosive this year for OU. That's the hope.
Yeah. That wide receiver room is ridiculous. We haven't seen it that loaded in a long, long time.
Yeah. Rob, what you got up here for me?
This is Deion Burks.
This is fresh off the press. We're supposed to drop this later this weekend, so sneak preview.
Awesome.
Yeah. Deion, he played in a pretty bad offense. Hudson Card, he's a former Longhorn, so he sucks. So yeah, I think he did like 15 touchdowns or something like that. So what Burks is, I mean, he's he primarily played outside for Purdue, and he had a lot of fade game, some speed out, some posts, some benders, sit. They ran some option routes, but for a guy who's 5'9", he plays like he's 6'2",
Yeah.
like easily. He is a big dude. He can't arm tackle the guy. These corners bounce off of him. There's some highlights of like safeties that just come in like they're thinking they're gonna put the thunder on him, and he just bounces off of them. He'll shred tackles. Here's a little jet to the corner. Awesome
Good
ad.
play.
Just an awesome ad, and adding him to what was already an loaded receiving room, and getting a guy like this, whatever collective or whatever whoever went out and snagged this kid early. I mean, I bet his paperwork wasn't even filled out, and he was coming this way. Kudos to them because they got a heck of a guy. Here he is at the X. They loaded up 3x1. They put him at the X and ran a little slant. But Hudson Card would sail balls, not just to him, but to a lot of other players. And yeah, he's going to be a hell of a player for us in the slot, man. If he's going to tear it up. He's going to tear it up.
I mean, as an outside receiver as well, I think you see him probably all over the field. I picture the Texas game where they're having to send probably that safety just to kind of hover around him, right? You're seeing because like I said, I'm on record for saying as far as our wide receiver core, please try to double one guy. Please pay attention.
It's over. If they double one guy, man, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. There's no team in the SEC that has enough cover downs for this receiving core. Yeah. If you have to double somebody, you're screwed. You just lost.
Especially
you can't.
And the reason why I say that is because with and like I say, people, you just have to continue to watch the film on Seth Littrell's offenses. When he has big wide receivers like he has this year, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", guys like that, when he has big wide receivers that definitely can get down the field. Hell, if JJ Hester can come alive this year, you will see that. You will see those guys get put on islands with DBs and basically given the opportunity to go make a play on a 50-50 or just regular old jump ball. Right. So that's what he likes to do. This is the name of the week, guys. We got it. We finally got it. Hudson Card. Forgot about that name, right?
Yeah. We'll go ahead and just take it and just throw it in the garbage. Just take it and throw it. Who cares, man?
Yeah, that is the name. And look, don't even pay attention to the film. Don't even pay attention to the film. Once a Longhorn,
always a Longhorn. So
yeah, I was like Hudson Card. Like, wow, I forgot about that name, man.
Oh, this one's a funny play, man. I mean, I just put this in here because of how high he jumps. One leg from the 5-yard line and ends up like 2 yards into the end zone.
The crazy thing about Deion Burks, and maybe he didn't do it as much as I thought he did, but on EA, his spectacular catch is very, very low, and I'm like, this is kind of weird because I'm like. This guy, looking at this film right here, he was out there doing the Lord's work as well because, I mean, he's catching it at all different angles.
Yeah. I will tell you, Hudson Card was praying before every game that he wouldn't get Burks killed every time he would sail a ball over his head and a safety come in and take him out. He was praying to God he would not get his number one receiver hurt. Like I started actually, this is the play right here where just to show how Card was overthrowing balls all the time. You throw it high, and a safety come in and just takes his receiver out. And he did this the same to Burks and to tight ends too. But I put that in there just to show that, like, the accuracy of the ball. Jackson Arnold's going to actually throw his guys open. He's going to throw his guys open, and he's going to actually put the ball in the right spot where some quarterbacks don't. It can hurt a receiver hurt receivers production, the stat line. So, but yeah,
let's all have a little prayer for our friend Hudson Card. Yeah. But let's go ahead. Let's move to our last topic, which is Jackson Arnold. Let's talk about him. Let's go from the good, the bad, the ugly, and what we hope to be great.
Yeah, he's got all the talent in the world. I don't know who you can compare him to as far as like his running ability. I don't know if he's like a poor man's Trevor Knight. Or maybe about the same as Trevor Knight. I don't know. I haven't seen him running. Yeah, he's got all the talent in the world. But is there one quarterback in the last 10 years that has so much on their shoulders than him this year? I mean,
yeah, there wasn't really much expectations for Riley and Baker in 2015. You know, the way that it was all set up the year before.
Spencer.
Huh?
Spencer.
Yeah, probably.
Well, we supposed to win a damn championship that year. What are you guys talking about? Come on, man.
He got booed off the field in the West Virginia
game. Come on,
right?
man. That was it was Spencer had all the expectations to go number one in the draft.
That's right.
Potentially compete for a national championship. No. I don't know.
I will say that Spencer was not trying to lead a team into the SEC. So that's a big contrast right there. So I think that's where Arnold's got it a little tougher, is trying to enter this. The schedule's just, I don't even like looking at the schedule anymore. I just don't look at it.
I do too.
Pull up the film on Jackson Arnold. Let's get into that. Brad, I like this schedule simply because what you got to do, you got to piecemeal it, baby. You got to look at it 3 games at a time. Look at it as a whole.
I'm with you.
You look at it 3 games at a time, and you look at the byes that are in there. We get past the first 3 games, and we beat Tennessee and send a message to the rest of the nation and to the SEC. Then we go down there, which I think is going to be one of our tougher games simply because it's Jordan Hare, very weird playing style down there. Hugh Freeze is really unpredictable. I think if you beat them, you get that bye week, you go in there, play Texas. Guys are back. Andrel Anthony, Deshaun McCullough, all the rest of them. Everybody's healthy. You could have some magic.
No, you're right. Yeah, the fourth, fifth, and the 6 games of the year will definitely set the tone.
Yep.
For the rest of the season.
All right, Rob, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so Jackson, gets kind of thrown into the BYU game after DG went down. He did a good job of managing the game. I feel like the offensive line kind of upped their game. Your starting quarterback goes down, your offensive line coach probably goes to you. Beanbo probably went to him and say, hey, you need to close out this game. And they got the run game going. Here's Farouk, a little dig there. A lot of stuff in front of them. Got them actually using their legs, which I was actually, when I was watching this game, I was like, wow, Levy's actually, using his legs. Being a backup quarterback, you kind of want to, you think to be safe because Levy choked in Kansas, so I figured that they wouldn't have him running. But his legs are a great asset. Go ahead, man.
Oh, I was just gonna say, could you go back to that route where they were running a stack play with Anderson? Nah, it was way before that. I mean, it was after that. It was after that. Keep going. It was after that. Keep going.
A little bunch.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Was it this one?
No. It wasn't that one. It's coming up. I just want people to see this route. It should be coming up here soon. Keep going. Keep skipping in. Yeah, that right there. That right there. Here. People, hey, keep an eye on what Anderson does. Go ahead, do that.
Anderson's right here.
Mm-hmm.
He's the top hat.
Wait, that's nasty work right there. That's a nasty move right there. That was the dagger play as well. That was
yeah.
a dag. That could have been a
that was
dagger
Anderson.
game.
So,
Yeah.
So it looks like Stoops is going to running like a what is he doing?
Yeah,
He's doing
Stoops
a
went
slant,
in, and then Anderson. That was
You
Anderson.
got a
down the
slant
sideline.
and a go. Slant and a go. He's
Yeah.
got a little doodle stutter step for fun. put his DB on ice there.
I'm sorry,
That was
people detract from that, but I just thought, hey, look, that's a
touchdown play.
That's a touchdown play, and that's a hell of a play. That I mean, people, if you're not excited about Nick Anderson this year in the SEC with what he could do and potentially become, then you're probably smoking those funny cigarettes. But no, back to Jackson. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, so like Arnold, he managed this game pretty well. His offensive line stepped up and got him. Here's the play that basically won the game right here. A little slant to Farouk, and then time ran out. Going to Arizona. So Arizona, huge cover 3 team. They ran cover 3 like 60% of the time. And here's Jed Fish, the head coach for Arizona, comes from the Belichick tree. And they're running cover 3 here. They actually have Stoops tagged on this play. Now, this is early. This is the first interception. It's like the 3rd or 4th play of the game. So it's kind of hard for an OC to recognize what they're doing and tagging. But you can see how this safety's got eyes on Stoops here. Stoops is just running a dig. Jackson Arnold, when you're going up against middle of the field closed coverages and you got a single high safety, you got to learn how to look them off, right? Or even get some pre-snap reads and understand that, hey, this corner's blitzing. I've got this corner that's 9 yards off the ball. I've got a tight end that's working to the sideline. That's probably the play to take, knowing that this team is running cover 3, middle of the field close. This is the play to make right here to the sideline. The route probably should have bended it a little bit better because of that corner coming off the blitz. Instead, he takes the snap. He looks over here, not long enough. The safety, both his eyes are on Stoops. They're playing bracket over here, meaning this corner is going to be manned up on him. And then as soon as he goes inside, he's all safety, and he's just going to ride this hash here. And Arnold, great play by the safety, but thinking that he has a guy wide open, sends the ball, and it's too little too late. Safety makes a play on it, and it's a pick. Those kind of plays, that's just when you can run cover 3 like Arizona did. Cover 3 is perfect defense against young quarterbacks because it eliminates a lot of the plays of the field that they want to throw to. And Arnold will learn this. I guarantee you, being now into fall camp, Littrell and him have watched this probably 1,000 times, and he's already worked on his game on looking off safeties and understanding cover 3 a little bit better. Young quarterback's going to make mistakes, but even after all those mistakes, did you see Arnold fold like a folding chair? Nope. Did you see him the game getting too fast, or he was getting happy feet, or was he just bailing out of the pocket too soon? Nope. He had great decision making when it came to using his feet. Littrell comes into the second half. They start running a little bit more of trips to the field, overloading the one, single high safety. You send vertical routes. He started doing that. Littrell started using Arnold's legs. So yeah, it's I think Arnold's gonna end up being a lot more polished in his looks pre-snap, post-snap, and reading defenses. It's just gonna happen. Littrell's gonna end up coaching him up with some of these mistakes he had. This is the reason why I paused it. This is probably my favorite play of all, for the year.
Yeah.
Freshman to freshman, Arnold's rolling to the sideline on his non-throwing side, and he throws it to his freshman receiver to the only spot that he can get it to. That's a fantastic play. That's a Sunday play. That's not an SEC play. That's a play that a quarterback does on Sunday. So I'm excited to see. Yeah, go ahead.
You saw the maturation process, man. You saw the maturation process with him during that game. did he throw one more interception that was like, hey, the timing, this and that, all the rest of that? Yeah. Did he throw one to Farouk that I don't know how that was considered an interception when Farouk got hit, and that was clearly a fumble in my estimation? Yeah. So I mean, the thing is that if Farouk doesn't, they were down 14-0, and he helped bring them back. And was very cautious with the football. They were up 24-14 going in. I think they were on the 30-yard line or whatnot, and then we fumble again. And then guess what? They score, whatever the case may be. Then we get up again, and then we do another. It just was those turnovers killed us in the game. Everything that happened prior to us going up 24-14, that play right there, that's not an interception. So that right there, that play there, that was just a hell of a play.
Yeah, this one right here, I feel like Stoops could have helped his quarterback a little bit better because he releases free. So you see that, I mean, look at all this green grass here.
Yeah.
And his route is a post route, which I don't understand because you got the middle field closed here. I feel like Stoops could have just softened it instead of cutting it back in the inside. He softened it and just sat there. And I feel like Arnold sees his receiver open. As a quarterback, young quarterback, you see a receiver that's wide open, you think, I got to get him the ball, or I got to get him the ball now. And I think he kind of rushed himself a little bit and didn't realize that there was a linebacker. Again, cover 3, these linebackers are on rope. They're the hook players. Could take the middle of the field closed, just drop right where the ball is. I felt like Stoops could have maybe softened it, stayed on the hash, sit down and just wait for it since you knew that you got a free release. But I don't put that interception all on Arnold. I feel like there was maybe just a communication error. But yeah, I think there's gonna be some mistakes next year that Arnold will make because he's a young quarterback, but I don't think we'll see the same mistake twice. And I also think we'll see a guy who's a little bit more disciplined because he did play a little loose. And Littrell's going to put him in a great spot, man. He's got a great OC that's got his back.
Will he have better personnel this year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're
just the tight end room. Tight end room's going to help a ton this year too. Getting Sharp and Roberts in there, and man, just Helms and the whole room's that room's gotten a lot better, and it's kind of sneaky good, even though we don't have a what's the guy from Georgia, Bowers or whatever. We don't have one of those yet, but he's definitely got some guys that he can utilize across the middle that I think is going to help him a ton.
I hear it. Well, shoot, guys, we've been on here for about an hour and 22 minutes, man. I think we gave the people a lot of really good stuff. If they don't say it, I'll say it. On YouTube at Champion Standard. Okay, right there. You see it right there, people. I just literally got it. I got it pulled up over here on another tab, their YouTube page. So definitely go check these guys out. All this content that you see on there is not necessarily exclusive. It's not exclusive to this channel. It's exclusive to theirs. So definitely go check out their breakdowns or whatnot, because these guys spend a lot of time really breaking it down and just talking football. So if you got, hey, look, I love bringing Chris Mason on here. Chris Mason's been on that show as well. Mm-hmm. Just like Chris Mason, not a lot of fluff, just like, hey, look, this is really what it basically is, right? And they do these film breakdowns and stuff like that. So definitely go check out their channel, but I'll let you guys promote as well. So tell the people who you are, and then just tell them where they can find you guys.
Yeah, no, as you mentioned, champion standard. So you can actually go to our website, check that out too. championstandard.com, all one word. That's kind of important. You'll find out why if you don't do that. But yeah, just go find us, comment, like, subscribe. I got to say too, you got a great audience here, Chris. The comments were wonderful. Rob and I don't do a ton of lives, and so we don't get this kind of good interaction during our shows like you do. So it's kind of refreshing. We'll probably have to do a few more live ones just to get the comments and engage people more. Ours is all just him and I, and then we don't have all the good comments that I see here.
There's some pretty cool ones, man.
Yeah. This is almost like the see you Kim, see you Stephen G. This is almost like kind of like the cult audience I was telling you guys about before you go. These guys, a lot of these guys are on everybody's channel, and they want to get OU content. So
Cool.
like I said, bringing you guys on, don't be a stranger. Come on the show as much as you want. This is a show open to everybody, especially OU fans who want to talk and break stuff down. So I'm sure behind in the green room we can talk a little bit more for a few more minutes. But everybody definitely like, subscribe, share this video, go and subscribe to the Championship Standard. Definitely go on Twitter. You can find them at CS Standard OK right there on the screen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You see that? Then another one more time on YouTube. Go and sub to them. Get those likes, get those follows, get all those videos and everything and stuff like that. Get those numbers up for them as well. Get those subs up too, because they're making great content. And so again, this won't be the last time that they're on the Horns Down podcast. But with that being said, people, we out.
You know, there's a lot of great OU podcasts, but there's only one where the horns are always down.